Welcome to the Scene Snob podcast.
Welcome to the Scene Snob podcast, everybody, and welcome Snob Nation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna have a really good time. We have some great guests tonight, and we're gonna really get into it. But before we start there, and I introduce and everything, a couple of things going on, and then we'll get into it. So we have I just put out a new podcast presented by us. Now, as you guys may have known, Warp Factor Fiction was a Star Trek show that we pieced together. It's a recap series where we're watching the entire franchise. For every month we do a new season, and we break it up into 2 episodes. First half of the season 1 episode, second half of the season the other. So what we're doing now is, because it was only available on our Patreon, and it still is to watch the video, for all our patrons, we are also going to do it as a podcast. Now, I've dropped the first 4 episodes. Everyone can check it out. From here on in, you get the first month will be on Patreon. Then after that, you will be able to go and listen to it outside of that. It is going to be very fun. It's going to be very exciting. We can get into a lot of stuff. We have a lot of changes in store. Of course, as you know, we'll be getting to all your comments and more. Now, before we go that route, I realize there's an elephant in the room that's besides me. I'm not wearing gray for no reason. But you guys, of course, have seen the statement put out by Casey, and that he is no longer with the Scene Snobs. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have about it. We have great guests here, and I don't want to do it before that because I want to talk to them. We have a really fun thing planned, and I want the focus to be on them. And going forward, you're going to see some changes. There are going to be some things happening, and I wanted to address that and just kind of let you know we're going to be getting back into it. And as things go on, I'll talk about it more and more. But again, after the guys are on, we're going to jump off. Of course, we have another Did I Fix It? Brought to us by Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. She gave me a great movie to fix today. And I don't know that I can or that I should, but we'll get into that when we get there. But before we do that, after I let the guys go after our interview, we are going to I'm going to do a short Ask Me Anything, where you guys can ask me any questions about what's going on, what's going to happen with the Scene Snobs, anything like that. Or hell, you just ask me what I ate today, you know? So we will talk about that and more. Please stay tuned. I really want you guys to check out the gentleman from the My 5 Cents podcast, HLS, The Logical Genius, and SoSo Juv. Great guys. We were on their podcast last week. So make sure to go listen to that and more, because they have some great shows. I was prepping for this a little bit, so I've been listening to the show quite a bit. So I think you should definitely check it out and follow them everywhere. Before I invite them on, though, and as we kind of keep going, I want to go through the the comments that you guys have. Sasha, thanks for joining in. I knew you said you'd be listening, and don't worry, I will be doing your movie a little bit later. Jason's here. Good evening, buddy. Thanks for joining in, pal. Ron, what's up, man? Live and full of snobbery. That is right. You're absolutely right, my friend. Chris says, let's go Snobs Nation. Yes, I appreciate you guys always joining in. And don't worry, my dumb bearded face is getting the beard back. It will be here soon enough. So just stick with me on the camera, or you can listen to me anytime. Paul Dunn says, nothing much love for you and the Snob Show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. And he says, nothing but love. There you go. Now I get it. Nothing but the best wishes to him and what life brings for him. Absolutely. And love to CRP. And Deadpool says, hi, my friend. What is up? How you doing, AJ? Thank you so much for stopping by. And David gives me a wave. How you doing, David? Guys, I just want you to know there is no hate. This is, I don't hate Casey. This isn't a behind the music documentary. That's not what this is. So it's not like it's drama. This was just something that we both came to terms with, and it's just kind of moving on forward. So again, save your questions for the Ask Me Anything afterwards. If you have any, we'll talk about it. It'll be a nice discussion. I'll do a Did I Fix It? But I just don't want to add to it right now, getting into what's going to be a great interview, because these guys are just amazing. They're so much fun. If you don't check, if you want a great show filled with friends that are on there and they're talking about really smart stuff way above my pay grade, then the My 5 Cents podcast is for you. Trust me. All right. So before we get into it, we've seen a lot of things going on. In the movies, CinemaCon is happening right now. So I hope you guys are staying on top of it. It's such a fun time because we have the summer blockbusters coming out. We have a lot of other fun things coming out, but we're seeing a lot more trailers come out. I just checked out the new Flash trailers, the Japanese version they showed over at CinemaCon. And I got to tell you, I'm warming up to this movie. It's not that I had hate for it, but I didn't have a lot of, I don't know, high hopes. I don't like Ezra Miller. But I never liked him in anything. Like, I just don't like him as an actor. I don't like his style. And then add on top of it, everything he's done, and then, it kind of becomes a little bit of a problem. But I am looking forward to this. It's got Michael Keaton in it, and of course, coming back as Batman. So I am excited. There's some other fun stuff. Deadpool says, Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa. Let's go. What did I miss? Where did I miss that? I missed you. I know there's a fourth Bridget Jones Diary movie, and he's coming back for that with Renee Zellweger. It's just an odd franchise to keep pushing on. I know the first one was really successful, but it really is just an odd franchise. Sasha says, I kind of like the no beard. Makes you look 100% younger. Easily a mid-20s like that. I left my mid-20s a long time ago, and I'm okay with it. I like 41. I feel like it fits me. I feel like I'm growing into my age. Old curmudgeon. No, I am enjoying it, though. I just don't like the face. Because if you saw me in my mid-20s, you'd realize, oh, you didn't look like that. You didn't look like this Jabba the Hutt looking guy. Scream 7 already in talks. Let It Die right. No. The money they're making, I don't blame them. And I really think that really what it comes down to when you think about these things and you think about these movies and franchises that keep building, down at the end of the line, let's talk about Friday the 13th. It's not done by any imagination. They're coming out with a TV show. The movies are going to be, coming back up soon once the rights are completely and all figured out. So it's going to continue on, and it should. Why not? If it's going to make money and it's something that you're enjoying, keep going. Just like the Harry Potters and stuff like that. So if Scream is still making huge bank, don't kill it. Keep it going. Have fun with it. And it's not like it's this, truly makes you think type of movie. Let's be real. It's a guy in a ghost face mask killing people, and it gets more and more brutal every time. If we're okay with Evil Dead coming back with more and more and more, and I am okay with it, I'm not fighting that. And Chucky having 2 seasons of a TV series and 8 or 9 movies, we got to be fine with Scream. There's so much Scream hate. Now I understand that some people don't like it, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But let's seriously think about this going on. Let's seriously think about, why do we not want it around? More horror, and especially more horror that's doing really well, we should want it. If we're horror fans, we should want as much as possible. We don't have to see it all, but as long as people are watching it and it's collecting the money that it needs to, it keeps the genre alive. Because God knows Hollywood's ready to kill it. They'll make their money from it, but they're ready to kill it when it comes to awards and things like that. All right, let's see what some of the comments we got here are. My 5 cents guys are great. Looking forward to this. They really are. They're so much fun. I love your face. Thank you, Mrs. Scene Snob. I appreciate you. Mrs. Manhattan's upstairs. New Final Destination announced today. Yes. And again, another franchise where it's literally just death. It's just creative ways to die. They made a TV show about it. So they're good for years. Let's keep it going. And I don't like gore porn. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the Saws. I don't like the what is it? The Hostels. Even the Final Destinations, the first few were fun, but then it got too out of hand. A lot of people love 6, so of course there's more. There's always going to be more, and there should always be more. Yes, a new Final Destination. It's going to be fun. They're getting predictable. They are. But so much horror is predictable once you get into sequels. You always know Jason's coming back. You always know Freddy's coming back. So let's just have Ghostface come back and keep it going. Let's have some fun with it. All right. Well, let me finish up these last few comments, and I'm going to bring on the guys because I can't wait to talk to them. We have a great topic tonight. Never liked them in regards of Ezra. I don't like their whole kidnapper groomer attitude, but still got to respect the pronouns. Yes, I do agree. You have to respect the pronouns, and I do daily. But those pronouns started coming out after he started getting in trouble. I'm sorry. I really, truly think that was a way of him trying to get out of trouble, especially for smacking around a woman and choking her out. I think that's why he chose to go by the pronouns. I do not believe him. And he should not be a face for the fight to get the pronouns legitimized in this world. He's far from it. You know, it'd be like having John Wayne Gacy being the proponent for childcare. Just don't work. Sorry. So I can't agree with that, Sasha, because I know deep down in my heart that he is using them as a way to get out of his issues. And people can argue with me, people can disagree with me, but I think it does a disservice to non-binary and people who identify as other genders, from, you know, however the mix and whatever they identify as. It takes away from those people and their struggles. So I don't trust him. I don't like him. And I think he uses that as a way out. And I think you're going to see more of that, especially in Hollywood. Hey, Kathleen, what's up? Thank you for joining in. There are so many people, so many ways to kill people, and Final Destination will never go away. Well, I want to bring out my guests because they are great guys. SoSo Juv is not here yet, but I want to bring out, who's been waiting here for about 20 minutes, by the way, HLS, the habitual line stepper and the logical genius. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, Mick? How's it going?
Good.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Guys, thank you.
Why you invited that guy over there, but
you know what it is? He had such a great list, but I felt bad. And I'm not going to give anything away because they need to go listen to your show.
Yes, tune in.
Spoiler alert. No spoilers.
SoSo's not in yet, but I will definitely add him once he gets in here. And hopefully he told you guys what I had in store for you tonight.
Oh,
I think so.
I would like to do a short version of your show, if it's okay, because I want everybody to see what it's all about.
yes.
Okay.
So I asked if you guys could put together your top 3 action sequences from movies.
Yes.
And you guys let me know, and I will pick the winner. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's great. I'm ready for it.
Let's do it. I mean, SoSo isn't here yet, but he's going to be in last place regardless, so it doesn't even matter.
This is true. You just leave him out.
Well, before you guys get to it and you tell me your top 3, let's talk about your show.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about, tell me a lot of it about the My 5 Cents podcast and what you guys are doing and some of your episodes.
Sure. HLS, you want to go?
No, you got it.
All right.
Put you on the spot.
Pass the buck to me. Laziness. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the show.
No, seriously, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
our show, our podcast is really about debating, right? You have conversations with your friends, your coworkers all the time about different things. Top 5 athletes, top 5 movies, top 5 actors, actresses, foods, or whatever the case may be. And oftentimes those debates end without a winner, right? And you want a winner. We want a winner because we debate all the time about any and everything. So the premise of the show is just that. We debate our top 5 topic of the day, whatever that may be. And we bring on a guest expert who ultimately decides who wins, who has the best list, and we get all the bragging rights. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So we end the debates that cannot be ended on our show.
I love it. And just to get a taste of it and be a part of the episode last week that you recorded, and I think it's coming out this week, right?
I think the week after.
Yeah.
The week after.
Yeah, the week after. It's a great episode.
I don't want to give anything away,
Yeah.
but I want to say, and it's a really fun episode. Casey and I got to be a part of it, and we thank you so much for that. And
No, thank you.
you guys did your top 5, and is it okay if I say just what you did?
Yeah. You can do the top.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Give everyone a trailer. Give everyone a trailer.
Yeah, I think it would be. I'm so excited because it was a really good episode. And the movie's like, oh, SoSo's here. Let's bring him in. SoSo Juv, what's up, buddy?
in the building. Sorry about that. I had some extreme technical difficulties. I don't know what was going on, but I was getting all the errors. Had to restart the computer. So, excuse me, everybody. SoSo Juv in the building.
I love it. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad I could get you guys on and really talk about your show and kind of debate it a little bit. It's going to be exciting. To get into it, and after you guys just gave that explanation, but we were on the show last week and recording, and they did their top 5 movies on Rotten Tomatoes that have terrible scores or certified rotten. And this list, their list, all 3 of your lists blew me away. And I'm not going to say who won. I'm not going to say anything about the list, but I think you guys, when it comes out, needs to check it out.
Yeah.
And more. So,
and just to add to that, it was the top 5 Rotten Tomato movies that were actually good.
True. Yes,
Yeah.
true.
So,
and I think that's what the most shocking part it was for me when you're telling me these movies, and I'm like, how is that in the 20s?
yeah.
Yeah, or it really was. And
it was an emotional journey. You know, I know SoSo Juv had an emotional journey because a lot of our movies we thought were really good movies. Like, really, it got that score? So
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes, you know.
It kind of makes you think you're alone on an island. Like, how does this movie get such a bad score? Like, I love this movie.
Yeah.
Right? I began to question myself. I was like, wait a second, do I not have good taste? Have I been dating the ugly woman this whole time? Like, it was really one of those things where I just didn't understand what was happening.
It wasn't. It's one of those things where as I'm listening, because it's surprising at first. Once we get into talking about it, it sort of makes sense, not the score, but like it sort of makes sense that maybe some critics who I don't give any clout to anyway might have put it this way. But man, you guys named some, and I'm like, really? Like, wasn't that a huge hit at the box office? Like that was,
and that's a part of a show that you experienced as well, was that, you know, it's not just, hey, we give you our list and that's it, end it. We have a conversation about it, we debate about it, like why is this movie on your list, right? Or why is it on SoSo Juv's list? Why is it on HLS's list? And we have a conversation and we engage in it, and we often the conversation carries on afterwards. You know, we have a group chat with each other. And, you know, HLS is like, I still should have won. You know, I can't. Your list is trash. True. I still can't believe you're number 3 or whatever. And we have, you know, with social media, we'll have conversation with our listeners as well. You know, they'll give their feedback and input. So it's very engaging. It doesn't end with the episode.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, you and Casey were like the perfect guest for the show. Like, you guys have so much movie knowledge. Yeah. You had so much to bring to the table. It was an awesome conversation. I'm so happy that you guys took a part of it.
What were in past episodes, what were some of your favorite topics to cover? And actually, you know what, before we get into that, I want one from each of you. Like, what was your favorite topic to cover in the past? And I'm going to start with you, HLS, because you're a great guy, and I'm not saying that you should have any hate in your heart for me, but they should go listen to your show and find out why you might have some hate in your heart for me.
It's all love, brother. It's all love. It's all love.
Foreshadowing right there.
One of my favorite episodes. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I thought it was a super conversation. It was one of the worst things to do on a date. I think it's my favorite episode that we've done.
Oh my god,
yeah, for sure.
What is something you're leaving me. I want a taste, just a taste, so everybody
just
can
go. Just the taste. So one of the worst things to do on a date is disappear in the bathroom. Like, don't leave the dinner date. Disappear in the bathroom. There's a time limit.
We already talked about this.
There's a time.
Somebody you ordered the wrong appetizer and you had to go. You have to go. If it takes you 10 minutes, 20 minutes, let it all out.
Call it over. Call the date at night. Say, hey, listen, something came up. Do not disappear in the. I don't know what's happening in there. I don't want to know what's happening in there. Don't do it.
It's just walk out. He doesn't want any part of this.
Sleep.
I will tell you, I did walk out on a date once. Like, just plainly got up, didn't say anything, walked out, got my car, and left. But in my defense, she did tell me she didn't believe in dinosaurs. So,
see,
okay.
Gotta go. It's time to
might
leave.
be reason enough, right there.
Yeah, that's
I thought you were going to say Santa Claus or something like that, but dinosaurs.
Well, no, that I would have been out even quicker. Messing around with Santa. So how about you? What's one of your favorite topics you guys covered?
Oh man, there's like so many good ones that we've had. We did best R&B group with Donnie Klang. That one was up there. I think I'm gonna go with things women need to have a great sex life. We had a sex therapist on the show, and it was just great conversation about what is needed for a woman to have a great sex life. So I think that was it, because it really captured the edutainment part of our show. Like, yes, it's all about laugh and games for sure, but we want our audience to actually leave with something. And I think with that episode, I think people, especially HLS, was able to walk away with some nuggets.
Nice. I love that. That's a really great topic. Both of those are great topics.
Yeah, our topics range from, we try not to box ourselves in with a particular topic. Yeah. We like to talk to different people, and it's everyday stuff almost.
Yeah.
Well, so how do you, before we get to you, the Logical Genius, I love that name, by the way. I love all your names. You guys, I want a cool name.
Mick Manhattan's pretty bad.
Mick
that rolls off the tongue so easily.
Yeah.
Habitual line stepper, come on. SoSo Juv just sounds cooler than anything I can do. And I'm talking about life. Cooler than things I can do in life. But how do you guys come up with your topics? Is it just something that you guys discuss, or is it like maybe a burst of inspiration and somebody runs in?
So you want the Hollywood true story with the topics?
Kinda, if it's okay.
So we have ourselves a Google sheet, and we all throw topic ideas on this Google sheet. And in order for us to discuss a topic, there has to be 3 in accord with the topic. We are each given one. You get one pass a year to say, I don't care what you say, we're doing this topic, whether you like it or not. But we try to make it that we all like the topic.
Yeah, but before it gets to the Google sheet, it's really me personally, the topics that I choose, what do I think I could win at? I'll keep it real with you.
Of course.
What topic do I think I could deliver the best? So it could be like, I might be watching a movie, I might be watching a TV show, I might be driving. It's just something just pops in my head. I say, wow, this is a great topic.
I love that. And
it's everyday conversation as well. Like, sometimes something comes up, wait a minute, that would be a good topic. Or we have a particular guest that we want to have on the show, and we kind of figure out a topic that works for them. Like, when you were on our show, the topic that we had was a great topic. You guys were expert in movies and knowledgeable about movies, and it just made sense. And we also try to make it kind of like a not typical top 5 thing. I make it more of an oddball type of topic, because it's a more engaging conversation that way. So
like a top 5 best actor just wouldn't work, right? It's cool, but it doesn't really move the needle.
Going through your episodes and then listen to some of them in preparation and such, you guys, it isn't. It hits you in, like, when you told us the topic, we were both like, "Oh my god!" Like I would have never thought about that. I wouldn't even never thought to look at it. Rotten Tomatoes is one of those things where, if I happen to see it and see that this movie that I love has a bad score on there, then I know. But I'm not going to actually go and look. You guys did your homework too. Like, you really did.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good topic. I can't wait for it to release especially your people to be able to listen, to hear your expertise in full effect.
I appreciate you guys keep saying expertise, and I keep appreciating that, because I'm like, I don't know about that. Moving pictures, sort of thing. Like, that's just me. You guys are too kind, but I did want to give everybody a taste of the show, and the topic I thought would be fun for us is, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, was top 3 action sequences in movies. So if you guys are ready, you got to convince me on why your list is the best.
Always ready.
Now, I'm going to go in a random order here. I'm going to go with SoSo first, because he's got the belt in the background, and you got to love it. But you guys all have some cool backgrounds. So take it away, my friend.
All right. So at number 3, because honestly, I thought the topic was best fight sequences. So at number 3, I am going with the intro. I'm talking the first 4 minutes of the movie You Got Served. The battling there was absolutely ridiculous. Breathe in, breathe out. Oh, when the guy went to the woman and like put his fingers and then they all passed out. Ultimate fight scene right there. Knocked everybody out. That right there is definitely my number 3. Number
You're gonna start the
2.
list like that?
Yeah, starting the list off like that. We're coming with the heat, okay?
Hey, that's top form right there.
Yes. At number 2, I have Achilles taking the beach from the movie Troy. There is first of all, it was an epic speech that he gave the Meridians there. Then the way that they took the beach, and then there's this sequence where he chops one dude, chops another dude, takes his shield, and it goes behind him, and then the arrow hits the back of the shield. Massive. And at number 1, and there's a lot of CGI in it, but at the time, I thought it was absolutely amazing. And that is Matrix Reloaded, where he fights in the court area, and there's just 1,000. Yeah, it's like me too. And then they just kept going until he flew out of there. That right there is not my 5 cents, it's my 3 cents, I guess, on the topic at hand, as we are just giving a little snippet today.
I love that. Wow, none of those would I have chosen. And I don't. But here's the thing: I don't hate any of those.
What's going on?
I don't hate any of those. Those are some great choices.
Thank you. I mean, and if y'all haven't watched You Got Served in a while, don't watch the movie. It was actually trash.
Yeah.
But
First
that
4 minutes
intro,
are the only relevant
that
part.
intro was fire.
Yeah.
I think it was the song. The song helped it a lot.
Oh, the
Like,
song
Breathe In,
helped
Breathe
a
Out,
whole
yeah,
lot.
it helped a
Yes.
lot.
And we spent that time in Miami where we
Yeah.
saw we were in the battle. And yeah.
love
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
The first scene, man, it is a really great scene. I haven't seen that movie in 20 years. Oh my god, it kills me. Okay, you lose automatically because you just reminded me 20 years ago. No, I'm kidding, of course, but I'm gonna go to you next, HLS.
All right.
I need you to line step for me. What you got?
I got you on this one. Mick, I think me and you are going to be here. At number 3, this movie came out, I think, in 2020. It's a Netflix movie, Extraction. There's a fight scene towards the end of the movie where Chris Hemsworth and the bad guy are like fighting on the balcony, right? And then they fall off. They roll off the balcony. They have a gun. They roll off the balcony. And this scene for me was amazing because it wasn't like super kung fu. It was just well choreographed, right? So when they fall off the ground, in other movies like John Wick, which I love, John Wick takes a tumble, just gets up, dusts his shirt off, and keeps fighting. Like, these guys were visibly hurt. And then, like, you could see them mustering up all this energy and this courage to keep going with the knife fight. Then Chris Hemsworth gets hit by a car. He's gone, disappears. Next thing you know, this other dude gets hit by a car. I thought it was really well done. And number 2, this movie, it was huge in the box office. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There's a scene where they're fighting in the bamboo trees. The cinematography was fantastic. The choreography was fantastic. Chow Yun-fat, this other girl, Zhang Zi, I can't pronounce her name. I'm not going to butcher it.
No, don't butcher
But
it.
just the
your line step, or
choreography,
you're gonna butcher it.
just the choreography and the cinematography of that scene, I thought was epic. And then number 1, and like literally, shout out to all the armed services people that ever put a uniform on. It's the scene in Saving Private Ryan when they take the beach. They're pulling up in these boats and they're just sitting ducks in the boats, and then they're trying to storm the beach, and it just explosions and gunfire. And you have a medic, Giovanni Ribisi, starts like, yo, I stopped the bleeding. And then boom, a bullet in the guy's head. I thought it was like super moving. It made me think like, wow, was war really like this? Like that's crazy. So that's my 3 cents of the best action sequences in movies.
I think I love that, and one thing that when you mentioned Saving Private Ryan and the storming of Omaha, I remember when that movie came out. My grandfather really wanted to see it, and he had been there. He went and stormed the beach, and he watched it in his room by himself. Never talked about the war, never said anything about it. He came back out. It was my copy of the VHS. He handed it to me. He goes, "Thank you for letting me watch it. It's too realistic. I never want to see it again." Wow. And he walked back in, and I was just like, "Jesus!"
Wow.
I was like, "That's a hell of a
wow."
Yeah. That's crazy. There. Shout out to your grandfather. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely. And tell him.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Everybody, like you said, everybody who's like, "Thank you." Yeah. And just watching movies like that, you're like, never me. I'll just sit in my chair and talk about movies.
Yeah,
I'm 41 now. Nobody wants me.
And you got Logical Genius?
What you got for me?
All right. I mean, those were respectable lists. They weren't any good, but they were respectable.
Oh, there you go. What do you have? What do you have?
Yeah, let's hear this.
So at number 3, this is hard narrowing down to 3. It was really hard. 5, we thought 5 was hard, but 3 makes it even harder because you can get like a throwaway in there at 5. At number 3, I agree with HLS. The Saving Private Omaha Beach. That like it put you in, like Steven Spielberg, did a great job of putting you in that time period, in that moment, right? Because you were like, what the hell is going on? The chaos, all of that, people just dropping left and right. You don't know who's gonna live, who's gonna die. It was just like, to start off a movie that way, you're like, oh my gosh, like what is going on right now? So that to me is a very memorable scene. At number 2, this is a very influential movie. SoSo Juv had this movie, but he had the wrong one. I think the Matrix movie, the original Matrix movie. I mean, bullet time, right? I mean, the bullet time scene, like that, going to rescue Morpheus, going in the elevator, shooting up the things, and then getting to the part where, he's dodging the bullet and finding like, oh my God, did he wake his powers? Like, it was something you've never seen before, really, on cinema, on the big screen. So it was a very, like, informing and engaging and scene. So great. And number 1, I've watched this movie so many damn times. It's crazy. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. The part where Schwarzenegger is on the motorcycle running away with the T-1000 with John Connor on the bike, and he's doing the reload, the one shotgun, one arm. That was like the baddest thing I've ever saw at the time, was like reloading that way and just shooting up. And that whole sequence, James Cameron did an amazing job with that. T-1000, just with the tractor trailer jumping off of the bridge and all of that stuff and crashing in. You're like, how far is this going? And the pace of that scene was just amazing. It was just amazing. So it's very, very satisfying. And those are my top 3.
Wow, man. You guys all have great lists here. God damn it. I didn't want to choose again.
You asked for it, Mick.
Yeah.
I did. I really set myself up for this one. I'm like, oh, what am I doing here?
You never said it's going to be easy.
No, they're great lists. And actually, before, I pick a winner, because I'm still thinking in my head. You guys win me over so well with these, but you all have great lists. And the funny thing is, the only one that I would, like, if I was putting together a list of the best action sequences in my mind, I think the only one out of all of your choices that might come up is Terminator 2. And that's because it's like, when I'm thinking about the service, all of them are great choices. And now that I know them, you guys gave me a lot to think about. And it was like, well, they definitely be added. But, you don't think of Saving Private Ryan as like an action movie. Yeah, it's a very action sequence, but you don't really think of it like that. You don't think of You've Got Served, right? With the action, but it is, and it's great to think outside the box like that. And that's why I can see why you guys have so many great topics on your show. Now, and thinking about it and thinking about the lists, one that I have a winner, and you're going to have to invite me back on because I want everyone to win eventually.
Balance everything out at the end, right?
That's it, balance.
It's I gotta go with HLS on this.
Ooh.
All great choices. One that really stands out to me, and again, Saving Private Ryan, if I'm thinking about an action movie or an action sequence from a movie, I could see myself getting to Saving Private Ryan. Like that was one of the ones that really kind of sold me on it, although You've Got Served really hit big time. That was a great poll. You guys all had a great list.
But it wasn't good enough.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I think about action sequences, I think about like The Raid. I think about John Wick movies, Fast and Furious, Kill Bill
scenes or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Kill Bill. That was my honorable mention right there.
Yeah, and a lot of these, but I don't know if you guys are big on like martial arts kung fu movies.
Yes,
definitely. Yeah.
I
had to take Drunken Master off my list because I was like,
yeah, I know. I was like, how do I not have Drunken Master on the list? For
That's
sure.
such a good one. And there's so many great, and even if we just went with just Jackie Chan movies,
any Jackie Chan movie,
and he doesn't even have to be fighting in it for it to be a great action sequence.
Oh yeah, he's just running from somebody. Yeah,
that's the best freestyle runner all time. It was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon because it is so steeped in the old school kung fu.
Yeah.
That that is really kind of what won me over on this one. Like, again, all your lists are great. All 9 movies are worth checking. Well, technically there's 8, but they're all worth checking out for anybody who's watching. But I gotta, everybody listening or watching later, this is what they do, and this is why you should check out their show. And we're just talking movies here. They cover the gamut. You guys really do.
Yeah.
There's a lot more arguing on our show as well.
This is true. This is a very peaceful.
There's a lot more. I call BS on that. I call BS on this. So
we want to be invited back to the Scene Snob.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're keeping it very.
Please feel free to argue. I'm all good. You can even argue with mine. Like I didn't want to put any together because I didn't want to have it in my head.
Okay.
You know how like you can put your own movies in and it sort of influences you if you have a movie Like Minded or something. So I just kind of completely like blank slated it, and I was like, I'm not going to pick anything. But outside of that, I know you guys are doing a lot of research. Are there any honorable mentions you'd like to give?
Yeah, this one was tough. It is the 1990s version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they fight Shredder at the end, and they're like, the Shredder, and then you just like, he has Splinter. And then they just go running. I watched it again. It's actually really horrible. But back then, it was everything. It was everything. I remember me and my brother, like, back in the day, trying to, I'm Leonardo and Donatello, and he was Michelangelo, Raphael, and we were just trying to repeat that. So I was like, do I put that on there? And then I watched it again, and I said, ooh, yeah, I don't know if I can put it in top 3 of all time. But that scene was definitely epic. It's true. Even if you go back before the Shredder fight scene, when they're fighting all the foot soldiers in the sewers, that was great. You got Michelangelo on the skateboard. I love being a turtle. All of that. Yeah, that's my honorable mention. Sorry for hogging. It really meant something to me.
No, that's a great. I love that one. I think we all love TMNT.
Yeah. Until we watched it again, you're like, what? Kind of like that Rotten Tomato thing. Like, was it really deserving that score? Was it as good as I thought it was? So.
For the time, though, and I still maintain that those costumes like hold up. Mm-hmm. They're so well done. Now, I mean, because look at everything we've got since then. Now, I love the animated series too, and they're great in how they do everything. But to do it live action, I mean, look what we got with what was it? Those 2 that they made that were CGI.
It takes away from it, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I would love to see a more in tune with the comic books, the original comic books, Ninja Turtles movie live action, like a little darker, a little more violent, but I get it. They got to sell tickets to kids,
box office sales.
Yeah. So how about some other honorable mentions? Because I know you guys got a lot.
Yeah. I wanted to throw in a bunch of Tom Cruise movies, and like especially like the Mission Impossible movies. Like they have a lot of really good opening sequences, and then mid scene or mid movie sequences. You know, whether it's a heist or like I can't remember which one it was, where they break into like the Vatican or something like that. I think.
Oh, and I think that was the 5th one.
Yeah.
Something like, there's so
I
many
mean,
now.
and Tom Cruise is like kind of like Jackie Chan in the sense that he does his own stunts, so it's not a lot of.
Wait a second. We're not doing that. We're not comparing Tom Cruise to Jackie Chan.
No. In the sense that he likes to do his own stunts.
This is as bad as The Last Samurai being Tom Cruise. Okay, I'm still like, how does that even happen? That The Last Samurai.
That's a separate conversation. That's Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's a whole separate conversation. That should be a good topic. The worst Hollywood whitewashing
the movies with like the Dark Knight, like the Bane sequence when he's breaking out of the plane. Like that's a pretty badass scene right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they do such a good job and especially now as we see, like, because even if you look at, let's just take the Mission Impossible movies, they're going on what, the 7th or 8th movie, and it's a 2-parter, so even more so. But like you watch that first one in the 90s, which I still maintain every single one, if you look at it from the time it came out, it holds up. Even that second one, the John Woo, like
the John Woo one, yeah.
I don't know that I'd like a John Woo movie in that style now. I don't think it's believable or works, but the fact that it's the 90s, everybody was really onto the John Woo train, even just copying his style. I think that movie works. The action still holds up. And I like that it's evolved into this thing. And I do see your comparison with Jackie Chan in this stunts department.
Yeah.
Now, as far as anything else, probably
absolutely not.
And Tom Cruise is not a world-renowned opera singer like Jackie Chan. So
no, he is not.
So, guys, as we're going on, because we're kind of winding down a little bit, I want to talk a little bit more about the show.
Sure.
So, when do episodes come out? When can people find your episodes? And where?
Go ahead, HLS.
So we drop episodes every Tuesday. We have a main episode on Tuesdays, and the week after we have like a short Make It Make Sense episode, right? So as you know,
explain what Make It Make Sense is, since you're in third all the time.
Say it again.
Explain what Make It Make Sense is, since you're in
so
third
the
all the
loser
time.
of the episode has to now has a chance to redeem himself, and has his own spin-off show to help win the audience to say, "Hey, listen, my list wasn't that bad." So every week we drop. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Apple, on all your streaming favorite streaming platforms are on.
Yeah, and make sure to follow you guys on Instagram too. Guys, check them out. This is a great show. I deal with a lot of podcasts. Some great, some not so great. You guys are in the great pile. So there you go. You guys are great hosts. I love seeing you guys play off of each other, fight with each other. And when you have guests, you handle them with such a fantastic like rapport that you build with every guest, you know. So and I've only listened to about 4 episodes now. I haven't listened to mine. I hate my own voice, so I won't do that, but I will push everybody to go check it out. But I just want to say thank you guys so much. It was so great to meet you guys during the TTFT
shout out to TTFT.
Great show. Another great show.
Another great show.
And watching you guys definitely inspires me to make this better. So thank you again for that. And I really think everybody should go check it out for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mick. And thanks for having us on.
Yes. And thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you guys want to come on, hang out, you're more than welcome. Always just let me know, and I will make time for you for sure. Guys, the My 5 Cents podcast, HLS, the habitual line stepper, the logical genius, and SoSo Juv. Thank you guys so much for jumping in tonight. I just truly appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna sign you guys off now, but I really appreciate you guys coming on again. And have a great night. And check out our episode next week when it comes out. But go check out the current episode.
Tune in.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys, you have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye. That was awesome. Those guys are great. I'm serious. Like, we have a lot of podcasters come on. We have a lot of people come hang out with us. But we just had an amazing time on their show last week, and we had an amazing time with them when we did the March Movie Madness. It was just a lot of fun. So make sure you go check them out, the My 5 Cents Podcast, and everything is linked below. So you can go check out their show. It's right in the description. And I think their IG is down there, but if not, I will make sure to put all their IGs up there so that way you can follow them on Instagram as well. Now, guys, I know I promised you I would be doing Juvenile Levro says, Harvester Sturdy, who you got on your list? Sturdy, you gotta give me your list, pal. What's your action list? All right, I realized that I said at the beginning of this I would do an AMA. So if you guys have any questions, now the reason I'm doing this is because I realize it's a big blow. And it's a big loss to the show that Casey has left. And I want full transparency. I always believed in integrity. I try to live my life by having integrity and trying to inspire others by living that way, living the way, practice what I preach and such. And I want to do that. And I want full transparency with everybody because, again, you guys are the Snob Nation. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, this isn't any type of shit talk session or anything like that because I got nothing bad to say. Casey's a great guy. He's a wonderful guy. He's got a good heart. They just had some different priorities in their lives, and it led to a clash. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. And, as we go along, and then I'm going to go to your comments in just a second. But, I just wanted to put that out there. And if you want to ask me off the air, you're more than welcome to as well. And Casey also put out a statement, and I'm sure you can ask him as well, and he'll let you know. So let's see what he says. Kathleen says, spill the tea. Again, it's not really about spilling the tea because there's nothing bad do I want to say or anything like that. Again, I don't have hate in my heart. I don't hate the guy. I love him. I love that guy so much. And it's just, it became like, this is my business. And we again have different priorities. He's got an amazing track that he's on with his job and everything else. And I'm not using that. I'm not saying that's the reason, but he does. He is on a trajectory upwards, and I'm very proud of him for that. I know he's got a lot going on with himself, and he's gonna thrive. He's gonna do amazing work. But with this being my business, I had to kind of think about things, think about where the future of this is going, what's happening here, and that's kind of where we settle. But let's get to some of these questions. Logical Genius, thank you again so much for coming on. I appreciate you guys so much. AJ says, how are you doing mentally after such a loss? It's all right, to be completely honest with you, I haven't been doing well this year. The last 4 months have really hit me hard. And I know a few people who I've talked to in the past few days have been asking me how I'm doing mentally. And it's not that I'm doing okay and everything's great and, that all I needed was him to be gone or anything like that. Absolutely not what it was. But because there was tension, because there were some things going on between us behind the scenes, and it was weighing on me. Now, again, I don't blame anyone for that. It's me. It's my mental health, and I have to work on it. I work on it with my therapy and things like that. I will say, since this has occurred, and this isn't a boast by any means, but like for me, I'm happy with where I am right now. As of today, and I only can take it day by day, is I'm very happy where I am right now. And I can only just keep going forward, and hopefully I'll stay that way. But let's see what everybody else is saying. Mary needs to make cookies for CFF 23. It's a whole lot of cookies. Maybe I can finagle some. Sasha says, Casey's a great guy and recently did some work for me, so he needs time for himself. I get it. We all need it. Just hope y'all are still good buds. Me too. Right now, I think we're at a point where he's got to be hurt. And I can't speak for him. And I wouldn't dare do that. That's not fair. But I would assume with this and the fact that I had to make this decision, and ultimately was my decision, I made it for my mental health, and I can't imagine the effect that it had on him. And I mean, I can imagine it because I know how the effect it would have on me if I went through it. But he's such a talented guy. He's such a wonderful guy. And I'd love to see him. I mean, as a voice actor, he's fantastic. As a podcaster, he's great. He's a very funny dude. It's just that we had different priorities in the moment. And I had to move one way for my business and for my own mental health. And, you know, it took him by surprise, but at the same time, you know, I do feel like I was being transparent for a while now, and hopefully he understood that. And, you know, that's kind of where we're at. And all right, let's see what AJ says. Also, second Dadpool's thoughts. Oh, Sasha said that too about AJ. Okay. I saw Dadpool and I just third Dadpool's thoughts. Well, hopefully I answered that question. If you guys want me to elaborate more, please let me know what direction you're asking. What do you do? Just teasing. I know you guys are taking on a lot. Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, again, I can't speak for the guy. I don't want to put words into his mouth or anything, but I do know just from having seen things on the side, he has so much going on. And I can't even fathom, like, in this instance and like where he's at in his career and with his promotion, things like that, like how much he's getting piled onto him, and he's doing it. He's killing it. I know he's doing a great job at his job. Honestly, I hope you and Casey are still friends. I was hoping Spill the Tea would at least a little bit of no. I'm not mad. I am not mad. I just, God forbid he watches or listens to this. I don't want him to think of it as a Spill the Tea. You know, it's me just, that's why I said that. But I knew what you meant. I know you didn't have ill will in your heart. And I appreciate you saying that. I do too. Right now, I think it's a bit of a shock, and I am at a point where I'm just leaving him alone a little bit. If that makes sense. Like I figure kind of give him some time and I'll be more than happy, because again, I have no hate. I love the guy. He's a fantastic person, talent, and everything else. He's more of the wordsmith than I am, but you know, so like, but he's a lot of positive things about him, and there's a lot of things that were not positive that were happening, but it doesn't make me see him as a monster or anything. He's certainly not. He's a human being. He's dealing with things on his own, and I am too. And we're just working on it. Lost Monk. That's conversation with my 5 cents. Super fun. Yeah, they were so great, weren't they? I absolutely had a wonderful time with them, and on their show we had a great time too. So make sure you check out that. And Sasha says, "Hey Mick, always around. Worked as a mental health helpline rep more than once. Always here. You've been a good and great friend." Sasha, I know, and you have been a great friend too, and you've always been there for me, and you've always been very open and honest, and I love that about you. You are you are a hoot sometimes when you go after people. I would never want to have you mad at me. I'll tell you that much. But you hold people accountable, and I appreciate that. As Chris, I don't know. As part of the Scene Snobs, no. And right now we are plotting and planning. We're doing some things and we're getting going. So I can tell you, as part of the Scene Snobs, unfortunately, no, he won't be. But if he's there, I would love to see him, of course, and you know, hang out, buy a beer, and you know, just talk. Like, again, he's a wonderful guy to talk to, and be around. So, and that's the thing that scares me the most is I made this decision based on actions that have been happening that have been affecting me. But I in no means mad or angry. I'm not. But I don't regret making the decision either. Because I will be honest, like, I understand my mental health, and like when I was going through my separation from my wife, and if I'm being transparent, I'm going to talk about it. Like it weighed on me so hard. Like it just felt, even gravity felt like it was just too hard on me at that time. And then I fell into depression. I fell into a lot of really bad, tough things. And like the only thing that was really keeping me going was this. And it was, and it was just a really tough time for me. And when I learned to embrace the separation at the time, and That's sort of like once my thinking came in, I really talked to my therapist and I put it into practice. Once I embraced that weight, that gravity really doubling down on me lifted, and my mental health was in a good place because I put myself in a good place by not just by snap my fingers. I put myself in a good place by working on myself and realizing, okay, this is the reality of what I'm in now. And I would be lying if I told you that I don't feel that way now. It's been a tough year in 2023 so far. And Casey has been a good friend. Casey has been around and he's done off the air and things like that outside of Scene Snob, especially. Like, he's done a lot for me. And I'd like to think that I did as well. So hopefully he feels that way, and then it can always come back around to a friendship again. Or if it still is, I would love to. And again, nothing has been spoken about in that sense. So it's not like I'm like, he hates me. I'm not thinking that. But it just happened. So I understand why he may not want to talk to me right now. And no ill will on that. So and I know you guys are talking a lot about mental health, and that has been a big thing. And I know he has things he wants to work on, and I have things that I've been working on. And I will tell you, this year was just really tough on me. And I will tell you that a lot of it had to do with seeing Casey where he was and sort of his reactions in some instances with me. And I wasn't handling it well, and it was sinking into a depression. So once we reached a certain point, I realized I need to do this for me. And it was a scary thing. And part of me was like, I don't want to get rid of him because he's my friend. B, how am I ever going to do this alone? And, again, to kind of tell the story, when we started the Scene Snobs podcast, so quick overview, the Scene Snobs started in 2013. I did it to write movie reviews. It started out on Movies 365, but it was only like 3 months, and I changed it to the Scene Snobs. But it was the Scene Snob podcast was something that I really always wanted to do. We did Mystery Elephant, which you guys saw the thing with that, and that fell apart pretty hard. And it was hard on me when that happened. And when that happened, I said, I want to be able to control the podcast that I'm doing, or shows, or anything. Like, as you guys know, I started out in producing movies and TV shows. Lived in Hollywood, lived in New York, the whole nine, and that was my job. I left that willingly. I wanted to leave that, and I have those reasons, and those are my reasons. And not saying I would never talk about them. I'm just not. That's not what we're talking about right now. And I left that, and then I found podcasting. And a big thing for podcasting, there's two people who are really big for me finding podcasting. That is Mario Melillo, a guy I went to high school with, who ran a website called Mario Likes Movies. And when I left the industry, he snatched me right up. He's like, I want you to work on my website, Mario Likes Movies. I want you to write for it. I want you to help us produce podcasts, produce videos, the whole nine. And I worked on that for a while and had a lot of fun. And he was such a great guy, and he's instrumental in me doing this. And then as we went on, and when I met Casey, and Casey was doing it as well, he had me on a show as a guest, talk about one time in the movie industry. And it just clicked, and I loved doing it with him. And we had a great time. And then when I moved to Virginia in 2013, Casey gave me a place to live. I came down here, and he was just like, he's like, I got a room right there. You can stay there. I'll never hate the guy. I don't care what he does to me or whatever. And I'm not saying that's a thing, but I'll never hate the guy. The guy was there for me when family members weren't there for me. He's a friend. He's one of my best friends in the world. I think, and to be completely honest with you, when and I don't know how many of you know this story, because I know it happened in 2021. My best friend of 25 years at the time when he died, Lenny. You guys may have met him. He's been on a show before. We hosted another show together in the beginning of the Scene Snobs early on called Behind the Box. when Lenny died of cancer in 2021, it wrecked me. I pushed a lot of people away. I didn't know how to be a friend at that time. And the only one I didn't push away was Casey. I held on to him. We did the show together, and I think I held on too tight, honestly, when it came to that friendship. And it was one of those things that just really, it was like I had already lost a friend. I didn't want to lose him too. And what scared me about it was when we started the Scene Snob podcast in October of 2019, and it was just the podcast that started then. October 6th, 2019 was first episode. Casey and I recorded it. It wasn't live back then at that point. It became live like a month later. Casey was there, and then we recorded the second episode, and we actually had a wrestling podcast at the time too. And then when we went to go record the third episode, Casey and I had a clash of opinion. And we, like, I don't feel like we fought, but I feel like I was definitely stern with him. And like, when we're doing this, like, it takes a lot of work, like, with the, like I'm more the scripting sort of guy, put things together, and then he's more of the wing it guy. And I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he did that, and it got a little belligerent and got a little, it just wasn't the style and tone I was going for. And I was telling him that. And I think we're at a time where maybe it was just a little tumultuous, and Casey left. He left, and he was gone for a year. I hadn't heard from him. We hadn't talked. He lived his life. And then, of course, the pandemic happened and everything happened. And slowly but surely, he started coming back and commenting on Scene Snobs videos and stuff like that. And we started talking again. And, then he came on the show as guest host. Because back then, when I was alone, I would do a guest host of the week. Sasha knows. Sasha was one of them. A few times, actually, Sasha came on. I need to get you back on, Sasha. I love you. And then he came on as guest host, and I was like, I love my rapport. I love doing this with him. And then he came back on as co-host. And I never expected anything more than just be here. Like, if I will run everything by you. If you're cool with it, just be here, and I'll take care of the rest. And that's fine. It's always been fine with me, because I love this work. As a producer, you are working constantly, 20 hours a day sometimes. This takes me 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I take Saturdays where I'll just post a few things, but it's for my family. I'm dedicated to my family on Saturdays. That's what I really go for. Even when I pick up or drop off the kids at school or something, I'm like doing work while I'm sitting in line waiting, on my phone or something, or making phone calls, things like that. Always trying to keep it going. So I think, like, after Lenny died in August 2021, I just wanted to, and I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. I know there's a podcast and we're doing things, but like, I held on to Lenny. I held on to Casey a little too tight, I think. And I just didn't want to see him go again, because when he left the first time, I used to be a guy who didn't like to do things alone. I was scared to do things alone almost. It was a fear. And I always wanted to have a friend there. I guess I grew up a Goonies kids, because I was just like, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Like, I want you there. Let's do it together. And when he left, I had the choice I had to make. Do I keep doing this and drive past my fear, or do I quit it and never live up to my potential? And I kept going week after week after week. I just kept hitting it and kept doing these shows and kept going and kept going. And some were pretty goddamn bad, especially early on. It was just me talking. There was pandemic early on, and it was bad. It wasn't great, I know. And then when I started hitting like the guest co-host of the week and stuff, like, it was a little more give and take. The interviews were really good too, and I just had a good time with it. And as we went on, and when Casey came back, we just had so much fun. And I always love having fun with Casey. He's a great guy. He's a great, fun-loving guy. I get why people go to him. Like, it used to drive me nuts. Not on his end. there were a lot of shows we would be asked to guest on. And this was early on. This is when the Scene Snobs network happened. It said AMA, and I'm sitting here blabbering on, so I feel bad. But this is when the network happened, and we would end up going on shows. And for some reason, I don't know what I did, but I think I gave off this feeling to these other hosts, some of these others, not everybody. We had some great shows we were on. That it's like, let's fuck with Mick. Let's make Mick look like almost like the bad guy. And that got to me because I was like, I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy. I feel like I'm pretty open. I'm trying to help people. I try to be there for people. I'm not haven't always been like this. Like, I had to really turn it around and like improve myself over the years. Like, and I'm talking years. But I feel like I've gotten to a place where like, I like to be positive. I like to live in the positive. I like to try and expel the positives to maybe it will inspire people or just to have hopeful days or good days, even if they're having bad. I don't want to take anything away from anybody, especially hope. Sometimes it's all you have, so no, I know I can be I know I can be brazen. I know I can be kind of stupid sometimes, things like that, and I get it. But I try to be at least a good person. And hopefully I'm succeeding. So when I would go on these shows and I was kind of getting beat down by things, I was like, all right, they want a character. And I found myself playing this character over and over again on these shows where they would come after me and then I'd have to go after them. And it just felt so snippy and I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I stopped doing a lot of those shows. And a lot of those hosts I stopped talking to because they made me feel bad. And I'm like, if I feel bad, then why do I want to keep doing this? If you walk off of a show, either you're watching it or you're on it or whatever, and you feel bad, trust your gut. So I kind of went with that. Now it's not everybody. I met a lot of amazing people doing this, and we went on and we've done a lot of great things. But this for me was, kind of going forward. I stopped doing them. Casey kept doing shows and stuff like that, and I don't fault him in any way, shape, or form. I'm glad he does them. He's talented. He absolutely is. And if he goes off and starts his own show or he does his own thing, I don't blame him. He should. He's got a great voice. And when I say voice, I'm talking about the mind behind it. He's such a smart dude. This for me was like, I was holding too tight. He had a lot going on. Our priorities shifted. Mine more towards business, him more towards his life and what he has going on and things he has to deal with. And one of the things that happened was there was stress there. And it came down to I was feeling bad again. And Casey was one of the people making me feel bad, whether he was trying to or not. I don't think he was trying to. But I was, and I had to think about that. That's one of those things I really had to think about. And I was like, if I'm feeling bad, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to keep living in this space? And I chose that I do not. And I stick by that. I stick by that decision. I think I heard a great quote one time. I got for TikTok, right? You're just sitting on the can and you're watching some great videos. I heard a great quote one time, and they were talking about how it's good to be a friend, it's good to care about people, it's good to be there for people, but if people aren't willing to help themselves, if people aren't willing to build them out, you can't do that for them. You can try and inspire, you can try and be there, you can try and do whatever you can, but if they're not helping themselves out, you have to at some point say to yourself, am I helping now or am I hurting? Am I stopping this? Because it can't just be me in this fight. It has to be both of us. Like, if I'm going to help you, I need to know that you're doing it too. You're helping yourself. And if you're not helping yourself, I have to walk away. I have to let you have a chance to help yourself and not just keep picking up the ball and running with it. And he equated it to the lifeguard. Like, a lifeguard goes out to save somebody, but if that person doesn't want to be saved, the lifeguard isn't obligated to drown with them. And that is where my mentality was with a lot of things. And I've done that, you know, family has been doing it, or other friends or acquaintances, things like that. If this is how it is, this is how I'm being treated, this is how I feel, I got to put myself in a better place, because I have a lot relying on me. You know, I have my wife, I have my kids, I have other people who rely on me for this. And so I needed to put myself in a better place, if that makes sense to everybody. Now, as we go on, I know I haven't answered all the questions, but let's see what we got here. I will do my best. If two trains are traveling in the same direction, do they arrive at the same place? Sorry, I asked anything. I don't know. Don't ask me math. I don't know. I can add, I can subtract, I can sometimes divide, and I can multiply. That's about as good as you're going to get. I've been a long time supporter. Yes, you have, AJ. Yes, you have. I remember the night you came on, and it was fantastic, and you are fantastic, and I appreciate all your support. Haven't been as active due to my own personal issues, but looking forward to seeing what you do next. I appreciate that, my friend, and I know you are going through your issues, and I'm sorry if I haven't been there as much for you lately as I should be, and I will try and get back to that. And I apologize. I know we've had some good conversations, and you're a wonderful guy, great dad who really loves his son and helps him out. And you should check out Xanderpool Gaming over on YouTube. He does a fantastic job, especially if you're into gaming. My kid loves it. I don't understand gaming as much, but I do enjoy it. And he is very engaging. I do understand good, engaging people, and he is entertaining. Chris, mental health is really important. You know my issues, so I got your back on that, and always here if you need me. Same with you, Chris, man. I try to be there for you. If I'm not there for you enough, hopefully, just please let me know, like, or reach out to me, for sure. Like, I do try, and I'm sorry if, you know, I dropped the ball on anything. Logical Genius, and I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I'm sure it's a very stressful situation. Hopefully you guys come together again in the future. You guys had a good vibe. Yeah, and that's Casey, man. Casey brings on a really great vibe. He's a fantastic dude. Chris says, we still love you, Mick. Wishing you all the best. I'm here for the long haul. Thanks, brother. Sasha says, so always had respect for you, but given this chat you are having now, mad respect for you now. Very mature and insightful. It's scary now that, but what's bravery? The ability to perform in spite of it. I love that. I love that, Sasha. You should check out Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, too. She has a great show. And I'm going to be on it soon. I don't know. We don't have a date set yet, but I want to be on it. And she had asked me, so I know I will be. Not boring at all, Vent Brothers Snob Nation here. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. That means so much to me. And I love the Snob Nation so much. Things get too quiet between you two. Never be afraid to reach back out to him. Had to do it with a friend recently. I went AWOL for 7 years. My best friend, no less. Feel like crap about it, but reach out to them. Reach out to them, Sasha. And she says, glad I did. Is it going well? I could lie, but I'll just say better than expected. It's a work in progress. Work in progress is still progress. Always remember that. No matter what work in progress means for you. Absolutely. And I will see him again. I have stuff of his here. And I can't wait to see him again. I love, like, and I hope that we can keep that friendship where we go out and watch movies together and we hang out, because friendship, Casey, and I'm not just putting that on Casey, but friendship, Mick and Casey, as much as we love being on camera, it's just that those moments. It's those great feelings of hanging out with your friends in the video store talking about movies, or playing NHL 96 until your fingers bled while drinking Mountain Dew and eating pizza. It's that feel. Chris says, you're totally an inspiration to me. Never changed my friend. Excuse me. With my MS issues, you have been a major factor in improving my depression issues. Wow, that's an amazing thank you. Wow. Thank you for that compliment. That's wonderful to hear, and I appreciate that. And I will continue to do my best. I will continue to be as entertaining as I can be. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, and great guests like you just saw with the My 5 Cents podcast. And next week we are going to be having. Next week we have a couple. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to be doing the Canned Air podcast coming on Tuesday. And Thursday I have something too for Star Wars Day. So it's going to be interesting. So keep that in mind. Juv says, are you looking for another host? Not at the moment. Because I don't want to, this was never meant to be I want to replace Casey. Can't replace Casey. You can't. You just can't do it. Like, I realized that there was a hell of a talent that was lost when I made this decision. But again, it was for more of a personal decision on my end for this than it was for, to like the show. Like, he's not doing well on it. Because when he would get on the camera, certain things aside, like, but he's a hell of a talent and you're going to have a great time with him. I do look forward to maybe trying out the guest co-host of the week, or, a couple weeks at a time, or something like that. Just to get differing opinions, different views and stuff like that. I really want to turn this into a lot more conversational. We've been delving into the comedy for a long time, and I think we could still get into the comedy and have a really good time. But there's a lot of things I really want to touch down on. Like, did I fix always end up being sort of a kind of a crazy go off on a beaten path, like in our own heads sort of thing. And now I want to use more of my filmmaking knowledge into talking about it, and kind of go that route with it. So it's not going to be serious, but it's going to be more serious in tone than it was. And also I want it to come from you guys. If you have movies, and I'd really like to stick to studio movies from back in the day, at least 5 to 10 years older or older. And then if you think they need to be fixed, throw them out my way, and then I'll watch them and talk about them on the show. And Jason says, we got you, bro. Love you, buddy. Love you too, man. I mean, Jason Sturdy. I mean, there's so many. Jason Sturdy, Chris, AJ, Dan, Tim, Sasha. There's just so many people who have been very supportive through everything. Stephanie, Destiny, the whole night. Like, everybody's just been really supportive, and I truly appreciate you. Chris, no, I appreciate you, buddy. And AJ says, deep dive conversation taking you down the rabbit hole is a great way to interact. True. And I want to get back into that. Now, I still want to talk about the movies. I love movies. It's my life. I dream. Some of you may know this from past episodes, but I wanted to be a filmmaker ever since I saw Jurassic Park in the theaters. I left that theater, went to a party, and I remember it was like a kid's party, and went to a party after I saw Jurassic Park. And what was I? It was 93, so I was 11. That was my oldest son's age at that time. And I just sat at that party thinking about all those scenes I had just witnessed. I went and I took a marble notebook that had 100 pages in it, composition notebook, and I wrote a 90-page screenplay. I had never written a screenplay before. I don't even know if I've ever seen a screenplay before. I just wrote it the way I thought it should look. A 90-page movie called Jurassic Campground. I kid you not. And it's somewhere. I don't know where, but it's somewhere trapped in the hills of many crap that I have. So, so Jurassic Campground. And since then, I always worked in it. And like, I talked about my buddy Lenny when we went into high school. We worked in the video store together. At night, when we closed up the video store, we would shoot movies in there, like horror movies in the video store. Like, we'd shoot movies at school. We would shoot movies everywhere, like, walking down the street, like, oh, what would be a really scary thing to do here? Like, we'd look for locations. It was always fun. And then he went into film school, and I hadn't gone yet. I was kind of doing my thing, living my life, and I wanted to be an actor at the time, back in my good-looking salad days. And, I was traveling out to New York a lot. He and I were in anger management together. I got to meet Jack Nicholson, Marissa Tomei, Adam Sandler, like a lot of great fun stuff that propelled me into finally saying, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I'm not that guy. Hindsight's 2020. I want to be behind the camera. I want to learn all I can. So I went to film school, and then I worked in the industry, and so on and so forth. And weirdly enough, the thing I fell in love with doing there was budgets and scheduling. I love doing that. I love line producing, UPM, associate producing. Like, I loved that aspect of it. It was just always so wonderful to me. But I digress. Let's kind of move on. I want to get into the Did I Fix, because I know I've kept you guys for a really long time. It's an hour and 20 minutes in. So the Did I Fix is pretty easy this week. So Sasha gave me the movie Constantine from 2005. And it's of course, the Keanu Reeves movie. Now, Sasha made me think, because Sasha is a big comic book fan and she knows her stuff. So I went in and I'm thinking about this and I was like, all right, I love Constantine. I don't think there's much to fix. There are things that could be different. There are things that you could fix. But I think the one thing I would first fix from the comic books in terms of this movie, because it seems like a lot of the hate comes from the fact that people who love Hellblazer comic books wanted what we got with the Constantine TV show with Matt Ryan, who was great, and a true version to John Constantine. And it was just, he did an amazing job. Now, if you compare the two, the movie with that doesn't really hold up, but I think Constantine's still a great movie. So first thing foremost that I would fix in this is I would change it. Don't call it Constantine. Don't call him John Constantine. Keep everything else the same. And that's how you fix it with comic book fans. Now you just have a really fun movie with a lot of great acting, a great premise, and it just is its own thing. And you don't have to connect it to the comic book, which was beloved, and I get it. Now, in terms of fixing the movie, if I had to give it fix, there's little things here and there. I do feel like there was a lot of tropes that they added to the movie that didn't really need to be there. I like the Chaz character played by Shia LaBeouf, but kind of like how Dylan Dog did it 5 years later. And if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. Another one based. But it just like that trope of having a young kid who just kind of wants to follow you around. It just doesn't work in movies that you want to go darker with. Like, because you have this kid adding this comedy element to it. And of course, like tragically, well, I mean, if you watch past the credit scene, it's not that tragic, but tragically at the time when his character's demise, I think it takes away from the heaviness that we get when the complete mystery unfolds. There's a time for comedy. I'm always for it. There's good time, but it wasn't well timed in that instance. So I would take out those tropes, that type of character. Rachel Weisz was fantastic in it, but the twin thing, it gets done. Now I understand in comics it's done, and you're just following certain things, but I think it just gets overdone in movies, and that was the case with this movie. I think the twin thing got overdone. I don't know why they couldn't have two different women playing. I don't know why it had to be connected to her. Now, I understand that they touched down on the twin thing, and it is written into it. I just didn't think it worked that well. But this movie, who's directed by Francis Lawrence, who went on to do great movies, and this was his first movie. His first movie is Constantine, right? He's only done really music videos and things like that before. Great ones. He has a fantastic look, and it makes sense for what Constantine was, and a lot of the things that you see in it, you could see being played into the movies. Also, the visual effects, for the time, I still feel are a little dated, where they could have been better, personally. But that's just me. But other things looked really cool about it. But just to kind of give you an idea of who Francis Lawrence is, Francis Lawrence most recently directed Slumberland. But some of his bigger movies are Red Sparrow. He directed The Hunger Games: Catching Fire and Mockingjay Parts 1 and 2. He Water for Elephants, which is a very good movie if you haven't seen it. I Am Legend's another one he did. He did a lot of stuff that after Constantine, I can see that influence on them. So there's really not much to fix when it comes to Constantine here. There's only certain things I would maybe change up. And I'm not even saying you have to take characters out or this, that, or the other thing, but I would say that it has to unfold a little bit better. I would take certain elements away, or tropes away, and like kind of darken it up a little bit, and like really pick the tone you want to go with, because it felt hokey at parts, but then other parts felt really deep and, like intimidating in almost a way. And like how they played it up, like Tilda Swinton's Gabriel character is a very intimidating character in that movie, even for the viewer. So it has so many great elements to it. There's not really a fix to it. I think if you're going to fix it for the comic book fans, you just change the Constantine element. And there's only really some little trope things that I would change going forward. But I do think it's a fantastic movie, and I would love to hear what you guys think. So if you think differently, or you hate it, you love it, or whatever, sound off in the comments. Let me know if you're watching this at a later time, or head over to the Discord. Let's talk about it there. So real quick, let me kind of go over and see what everybody's saying. Sasha says, I wrote a sequel to Jurassic Park in junior high, got some local press, and got bought by Topps Comics right before they went belly up. Oh God, I'm sorry. That's awesome though that you did that. This old man has to go to bed. We'll finish it up tomorrow. Good night, chat, and Mick. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Jason. AJ says it'd be funny to do a snob version of Be Kind Rewind instead of a movie being sweeted. It can be snob. Yeah, that would be pretty good. All right. Anyway, you could be convinced to get behind the camera in some capacity again, asking for a friend. I don't know. It's been so long. I don't think you'd want me. I'm a little dated on everything. Make it its own thing. That alone is a fix. I feel like it will help a lot of things. Like optics go a long way, and I think that would be a big thing for a lot of people. But I don't think I think the movie has place and has merit. Did you know Cemetery Man started as a pitch for a Proper Dylan dog movie way back? Get out of here. Really? I did not know that. I like that movie. That was a great movie. Yeah, it really was. All right, guys. So I want to say thank you so much for listening to me. I don't normally do AMAs on the show. So if you're listening and you're new to this, please keep joining in. We're going to get into a new format. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we appreciate you guys always being a part of it. You are fantastic and wonderful, and I just truly appreciate all that you guys bring to help me out and support and doing all this. And yeah, just kind of keep sticking around. You want to be part of the Snobs Nation, join our Patreon, join our Discord, whatever else. But get into it. It's a lot of fun. So follow us everywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. Helps us go a long way. And if you like what we have going out, please go over and hit the subscribe button. We have Warp Factor Fiction is now a new podcast. I just dropped the first 4 episodes. That's our Star Trek rewatch podcast. We call it a chronological analysis of the of Star Trek on screen, and we are kind of pulling that in. We just posted my interview with Todd Stashwick, who played Liam Shaw on the newest season of Picard. We did Jonathan Frakes last month. He was on the show. We have Will Wheaton and tons of other celebrities and directors and things like that we talked to that you can go back and listen to or watch. And if you would like, we're trying to set up an interview with somebody else who is on the Picard season 3 right now. Hopefully she will be. And I have a good friend who worked as a VFX on Strange New Worlds season 1. And I'm trying to get him on. And we have a few other people that I'm working with now. So if you're into Star Trek, please get on there. We have other non-Star Trek celebrities coming on the show very soon. So hopefully you guys will be a part of that. But I want to say thank you again so much for watching, so much for listening, so much for supporting. You are truly amazing, and I truly appreciate you and everything you do for us. Thank you very much. I know I don't have the chops to really do a great send-off, so I'm just going to say thank you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself, and have a great night. Until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Take care. I do want to say, Juv, I do see your comments, and I know I'm finishing off crazy. But if you are interested, message me on any one of our social media, and then we'll get you on. Be a guest host, man. Thank you. All right, take care, everybody. Good night.